I have been running a successful small business for the past 6 years, and this is the tech that I use. Introductions first. If you're new here, hi, my name is Evie. I am a wildlife artist. I run my small business from home, which means that the tech that I buy in for my small business, I want it to be aesthetic. I'm gonna be walking past it every day. I don't want to see big exposed aluminium structures. I don't know. I want it to be nice. I want it to be cute. And I also want it to look cute in my videos. And it also needs to be small and compact enough to be able to fit into our guest bedroom. But of course, function is at the heart of it. Choosing technology for your small business is such a nerve-wracking thing, and I want to help anyone who's in that situation where you're just not entirely sure what to get and you want to hear someone's unsponsored and open opinion about it, open, honest opinion about it. I'm here. Just for full transparency, this video is not sponsored. The tech that I'm going to show you, some of it I bought myself, some have been gifted collaborations in the past, but I don't owe the brands anything and none of them know I'm making this video. If you aren't new to my channel, you might notice that this studio is new. I recently moved all of my tech stuff into our guest bedroom because the sticker cutters are a bit loud, and when everything is running simultaneously, I figured we never have guests anyways, and I just wanted the tech to be in a separate room where we can still focus on other things in the main studio while things are buzzing away in here. Some machines are louder than others, and I will certainly be covering that as well in this video. Alright then, let's get into it. Let's start with the very first things that I invested in when I started my small business, which is a sticker cutter and a printer. I feel like the majority of people starting their small businesses at the moment, like one of the main things people get is a Cricut, but there are other alternatives to a Cricut on the market. So let's talk about that as well, because I certainly have some opinions in that area. My first two pieces of tech that I bought for my small business were a Cricut Maker and a Canon Pixma printer, and I can't remember what the model was, but it was around £250, which I think equals to around $300. It was in that price range, and because my art was very pastel-y, then that printer was absolutely fine. I more often than not found that the print quality had more to do with the type of paper I put into the printer rather than the quality of the printer itself. And even now, with my current printer, which is an Epson EcoTank 8500, that is still the case. The Epson EcoTank is a really good printer, and it handles dark inks a lot better than the Canon Pixma did, but it is also twice the price. And I don't think you necessarily have to splurge on a printer that expensive when you're first starting out, especially not if you're doing light colors, washed colors, or pastel colors. Pastel colors are a lot easier for printers to handle than dark or vibrant colors. So if you happen to have a very pastel-y art style, then you are in luck, because it will be a lot cheaper for you to get your first printer than someone who needs a printer for darker color schemes. So Canon Pixma, it was a great printer for me starting out, and I never had any issues with printing onto sticker paper, printing onto magnetic paper. I never had any issue printing onto 400 GSM cardstock or printable magnetic paper. The Epson EcoTank, on the other hand, has a limit to 350 GSM, which is very unfortunate because I would have loved to do 400 GSM. It's just a bit thicker. Keynotes from the talk about printers: if you have a pastel-y art style, you will find it a lot easier to find yourself a nice quality printer at a lower budget, just because printers don't struggle as much with pastel colors as they do with vibrant or dark colors. Those are the ones I've used. I am not going to pretend knowing something about things that I don't know anything about. So let's move on to probably the biggest question that I get about starting a small business, which is sticker cutters. And as mentioned, I have some opinions on sticker cutters, and I'm not going to hold back. My sticker cutters live over here. I use a IKEA Kallax unit, and I just didn't add the middle shelf to it. Works perfectly fine. I have one Cricut Maker, the original Maker, not the Maker 3. And I have one Loklik iCraft, which is a newer version of the Loklik Crafter. If you live in the US, you might find that it's called HTV Runt instead. As far as I can tell, they are the same company, but with different names depending on where they operate. They seem to do the exact same type of machines, and they also run their affiliate programs together, so I would be shocked if they were not the same company. me. I've never seen anyone work so well together before. Tip number 1, when you're getting a crafting machine, which is what they're called, don't get lured in by advanced features. It depends on what you want to use it for. For example, the Cricut Maker, when I bought that, they also have a cheaper version. I think it's called the Cricut Air, and now they also have like a mini version, which I've never tried. The cheaper version of Cricut, the Cricut Air, does everything that I currently use my Cricut for, and I have personally never used the advanced features of the Cricut Maker. I was lured in by the fancy features. And there's a fly here. Sorry, we're just gonna have to deal with it. The Cricut Air can cut stickers, it can cut papers, it can cut vinyl, which is, I think, what the majority of people use it for, to make cards, to make vinyl cutouts for bottles and glasses, and to make stickers. Both machines have the print and cut feature, which is what you use to make stickers. And in order to use that print and cut feature, you need to use it in combination with a printer, such as the Canon Pixma or the Epson EcoTank. So the Cricut was my first purchase. I bought it over 5 years ago and it's still running smoothly. However, there was a software update about a year into when I owned it, where it put the machine out of use for a couple of years, where I just didn't use it because there was a bug in the system. Cricut support was not very collaborative, let's put it like that. This experience is the reason why I've never bought any of their other products, and I don't think I ever will. But having said that, it was a long time ago and I should probably get over it, and don't let my bitterness affect your decision. Nevertheless, I'm never going to chuck out a functional piece of equipment. So in regards to the bug, I kept doing software updates and hardware updates whenever they were available. And after a couple of years, there was a hardware update that fixed it. And now my Cricut Maker runs wonderfully smoothly and I use it very often. So all is well. Let me get a drink real quick. So my Cricut Maker is over here, and in addition to the Cricut Maker, I also have a Loklik iCraft. The Loklik iCraft was gifted to me. I don't think I would have necessarily thought about bringing in a new sticker cutter because I had such a bad experience with the Cricut and I wasn't interested in those machines anymore. But when I tried the Loklik iCraft, I was a bit baffled by how easy it was to use. So for me, honestly, that is the one that I recommend to anyone wanting to try them out. And as I said, it was a gifted collaboration once upon a time, but I've paid my dues. I did my collaboration video. I don't owe Loklik the brand any content, any endorsements or anything like that. I'm free to speak my mind. I love that cutter. And I have also used other tech from them and I really like it. I was talking to my partner the other day about potentially bringing in a second Loklik iCraft, and that is something I might do. I don't know where I would put it though, that's the only issue. But I am tempted, because it is the one that I use a lot, and if I brought in a second one, it would speed up my sticker production. So let's talk about what I use them for. The Cricut, one feature I really love about the Cricut is that it can generate a bleed for you, like an edge that goes around your artwork, which means that if it cuts your work a bit wonky, then you still have a bit of wiggle room, and it does very often cut your work a little bit wonky. But that bleed kind of makes up for it and it's not as bad. I use my Cricut for packaging and I use my Cricut for single stickers, die cut stickers that are fully cut out from the entire paper that I'm making them on. What I don't use the Cricut for and what I never recommend it for is sticker sheets. It does not do a good job with sticker sheets in my opinion. It does not do a good job with any kind of project where you have to do a print out and then multiple cuts onto the same paper. I've never had much luck with that, and so I can't recommend it for that. The Loklik iCraft, on the other hand, does an amazing job with sticker sheets and projects where you have one printout but multiple cuts of different thicknesses layered on top of each other. However, it does not have the ability currently to generate a bleed for you, and that is why I use the iCraft for sticker sheets and the Cricut for single stickers. The way I see it is that these are both software issues, and so they could easily be corrected and improved. My experience with Cricut is that they don't make a lot of changes unless those changes are monetizing features, whereas with Loklik, they're a slightly newer company, and so I don't have a big basis to judge them on. But since I started using this machine about a year and a half-ish ago, I think, at least a year ago, this software has undergone a lot of changes, a lot of positive changes, and I like that. I feel like they are a bit more active, as you would expect an underdog to be, I suppose. I could not talk to you about crafting machines and sticker cutters without mentioning a few other brands that you might want to check out. I haven't used them. You might want to have a look at Silhouette, which, from what I hear, Has a lot of the same features as the Loklik iCraft. Another brand you might want to check out is Sizer. From what I understand, much more expensive machine, but likewise has a lot more capabilities. I've never felt the need to upgrade to this, but I do know that some people who run manufacturing services, you know, they have artists send them their artwork and then they make batches of stickers for those artists. I know that they use a Sizers. I say Sizer, it might be Caesar, but yeah, whichever. And then there's a cute little machine called Lien. It's actually a printer and a cutter combined. I'm gonna link a video to that. My friend Bia made a review about it. She had a gifted collaboration and I think she shows it off better than I can because I haven't used it. So I'll link her video in the description. Essentially, it looks like it can't do die cuts, but if you just want to make stickers for your planner or you want to make full page sticker sheets, or if you're happy to cut out stickers by hand, that can be a really good alternative as well. Hopefully this gave you a slightly better idea of what cutter you might want to get for your sticker business or what printer you might want to get for your art business. Let's talk about some of the other things I have. There isn't a lot left, I promise. You might see a Mac in the distance. There is a Mac in here. I bought an iMac about 2 years into running my small business because I thought, I don't know, I just saw so many other small business owners using it. Oh, sorry, this is a horrible angle. At the end of the day, I personally found my iMac to be overpriced, and for the price you pay, the features are really bad. Like, this thing cannot edit 4K footage at all. I used my Windows laptop that I bought for around £479, I think I paid for it. I used that to edit 4K footage, and the iMac for £2,000 cannot handle it. In my other studio for my main computer, I actually have a Geekom mini PC and a big TV monitor. That is the computer that I do the majority of my graphics design work on. I do 3D modeling, I do video editing, and that is what I recommend. They do have quite a loud fan, so if you are sensitive to loud noises, you probably don't want those, but then again, you would definitely not want the Mac either. Sorry, Mac lovers, I don't mean to be cruel. I love the look of a Mac, hope that helps. But I cannot in good conscience recommend anyone using an iMac because I have personally never found it to be very good. My camera fell and it got its first dent, but it is a good segue into talking about camera equipment. I used the Osmo Pocket and I got the Creator Combo, which comes with this one, a low microphone and some other things. It's a really good camera. It's nice and easy to bring with you. Highly recommend this one. It's really easy to just pick up and record. It's also got this cool like motion tracking feature, and you can set the camera if you want to allow it to go up and down or if you just want to allow it to pan. And it just follows you. I'm trying not to lean on this desk because I haven't installed the legs yet and I don't want everything to fall. Finally, a couple of honorable mentions. I don't think I need to go into too much detail about these because what they do is quite basic, simple, and quite straightforward, but they do it well, and that's why I love them. I use Moonbin thermal printers and I have reviewed 3 of them in the past. I've always found that all 3 do very well at exactly the same thing. You're not gonna go wrong with a Moonbin thermal printer. It comes with an app. You run it from your phone. You can just move the design around. Like, if your design doesn't come out centered on your print, just move it slightly off center in the app and you can fix it like that. Easy peasy. Frustrating? Yes, but easy to fix? Also yes. I have another thermal printer which is by Zebra, and it is really good if you're able to connect it, but that is one of the pieces of tech that I was never able to attach or to connect to my Mac. Honestly, I also struggled to get it connected to my Geekom computer, but it did work well with the Lenovo gaming pads. That's the only one that's connected to at the moment. And finally, I appear to have connected it in an irritating way, but I recommend a Cricut Laminator. If you want to take your stickers to the next level and just make them water resistant, you can add lamination on top of your sticker paper and just add an extra layer of waterproofness, and also the thickness makes it feel a bit more lush, if you like. I'll be honest guys, that is the amount of small business tech that I use in this studio at the moment, but as promised in the title, I have a little wish list / tick box list of things that I will be adding to the studio. I know that Loklik has a laser cutter that they've launched in the US, and that is the one I was gonna get because I love their brand, but it isn't for sale in the UK at the moment. I'm interested in the X-Tool ones as well. I'm always wondering when I see influencers and content creators using X-Tool in their work and in their advertisement, they always use wood, and I always wonder why aren't they doing acrylic? But when I went to X-Tool's website to decide on which machine to get, a lot of them don't specify that you can use acrylic, and so I'm wondering if maybe they can't? I don't know. I noticed that you can engrave onto acrylic, but I haven't seen examples of people cutting acrylic with it. Look, that is the main thing I'm going to be using it for. So I want a machine that clearly promises me that I can cut acrylic. The second, and I suppose third as well, items that I'm getting a 3D printer. So I've always loved sculpting in polymer clay, and I also love 3D sculpting in the computer. I've always been fascinated by 3D printing, but I never had the proper time to get into it. This year, I want to launch my own blind box figurines and desk friend toys. So I've been doing a lot of research into filaments and choosing machines that have less wastage and things like that. I feel like whenever I talk to people about crafting machines, there's a little bit of brand snobbery. Some people are very much in the mindset of anything that isn't a Cricut is just a knockoff of a Cricut, which is inaccurate. But I feel like some people, you're never going to change their minds anyway, so why get into it? But what I'm trying to work out is everyone is recommending that I use Bamboo Lab, and I just want to make sure that that's not the same as when people recommended I got the Cricut, because at the end of the day, I would have much rather bought a Loklik iCraft than a Cricut. I'm just being honest. I want to make sure I don't make that mistake again. Can you make sure you don't make a mistake like that? No, you can't. You can't know what you don't know. So sometimes you just gotta throw yourself into it. I hope this video was useful to you. If you want to see more from me, please let me know in the comments if there's a particular video you want to see. Or if you just want to tag along for the ride, please subscribe to my channel, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! I almost recorded this as a time lapse. That would have been such a bummer to discover later.